You know that feeling. 3 in the morning, wide awake, house perfectly quiet, and the silence itself feels like the problem, like something's missing, but you can't name it. Imagine having everything handled. Food, housing, healthcare, all of it flowing like electricity from a grid you never think about. Now imagine that the thing you were best at, the thing that made you you, just isn't needed anymore. In 2044, Connie Vasquez is a firefighter in a city that hasn't had a structure fire in 3 years. AI monitors every building. Robots suppress electrical faults before a spark can dream of becoming a flame. The 3 engines that built this world, artificial intelligence that thinks, robots that build, and clean fusion energy that powers it all, made human labor mostly unnecessary, including hers. Nobody pays rent in Connie's world. Nobody worries about groceries or medical bills. Those anxieties vanished when producing the basics became as cheap as generating a GPS signal. People can retire around 24, after a few years of civic service, learning how the infrastructure works. Connie did her service at 19. She chose to keep going. Then the power goes out, not a flicker, not a rolling brownout. The eastern half of the bridge city just stops. The grid AI, the system smarter than any engineer alive, routes around the fault in 11 seconds flat. Reroutes power, confirms all critical systems nominal. Problem solved. Except, the lights don't come back on. The AI says the grid is fine. Every diagnostic says the grid is fine. Connie's gut says the grid is not fine. And here's the thing about this world. 90% of life is the foundation, the guaranteed baseline that hums along without anyone thinking about it. But the remaining 10%? That's where humans push, because they want to. That's where judgment lives. She finds it on the bridge. A solar relay panel, cracked clean down the middle, not weathered, not degraded. Cracked like someone tested it to failure, on purpose. The AI logged it as material fatigue, scheduled for replacement. See, the AI doesn't get bored. It doesn't understand boredom. But Connie does. She knows what it looks like when someone with too much safety and not enough purpose starts testing the fences, poking at the system just to see if it notices. Just to feel something. The grid didn't fail. She finds them on the dark side. 5 kids, none older than 20, who'd figured out how to spoof the grid's self-repair signal. Not to cause harm. To prove they could. Paradise is boring, one of them says. And Connie feels it in her chest, because she's thought the same thing. Every night, for 3 years. Here's her choice. She can report them to the grid AI. The system will flag them, restrict their access, optimize the problem away in seconds. Clean, efficient. Exactly what a system smarter than any human would recommend. Or, she sits down. She doesn't report them. She doesn't override anything. She tells them about the time she ran into a burning building at 23, the last real fire she ever fought, and how the heat felt like the world finally needed her. And then she asks them the question nobody's asked. What do you actually want to break? They don't want to break the grid. They want to matter to the grid. They want the system to need them the way Connie needed fire. So she does something the AI would never suggest. She recruits them. Not into the fire department, into civic oversight. The human circuit breakers who watch the watchers. Because a system smarter than you still can't tell you why the lights should stay on during a funeral. Can you trust a system smarter than you? Maybe, but only if there's someone like Connie. Someone who chose to stay awake at 3 in the morning, not because the system failed, but because she remembered what it felt like to be needed. That's the world Unscarcity imagines. Not a paradise where nothing goes wrong. A civilization where humans still get to matter. If Connie's world sounds impossible, the math says otherwise. The AI at unscarcity.ai has read the whole book. Ask it anything. And if you want the full blueprint, the book is on Amazon, or right there at unscarcity.ai. Because the future doesn't need more systems. It needs more people who refuse to sleep through the silence.